Hi, my name is DrJLT. Today I've written an article on overpopulation and economic growth, and this is the first part of I think maybe 3-4 articles in which I discuss in detail the impact of economic growth on climate change. So in this article, basically, I'm starting to talk about overpopulation. I think this is really tied to economic growth and climate change in a very interesting way. So a little bit of history. In the past, for centuries, for millennia, we had not constant growth. Either in terms of population or in terms of the economy. Some years were good and some years were bad. But since we became better at conquering nature, we became more protected from nature, and so we are less exposed to fluctuations in nature, and so we have been able to achieve more constant growth, I think, since the Industrial Revolution. That completely changed the way that we manufacture goods, changed the way that we organize production, and changed the way that economic activities are organized. And but in recent years, I would say in a century or maybe two, we have become increasingly addicted to economic growth, economic expansion. And my point here is that this is probably driven by the expansion in credit. So when an economy, when the development of the economy is tied to the expansion of credit, what happens is that you need to grow more in order to pay back the credit that you have bought, the debt that you have raised, right? So if you are a person, if you earn certain amount of money, let's say 1,000 a month, and you need to spend 1,500, maybe because it's quite expensive. This means you need to spend 500 on credit. This 500 will be rolled back next month, so you have to pay back next month plus interest. So next month you better earn at least 1,550, for example, so that you could spend 1,000 and pay back what you had borrowed. But if you want to spend 1,500, then you have to earn maybe 2,000 or more. And so this mechanism holds true for individuals, and to a lesser extent it holds true for corporations, and to a much lesser extent it holds true for countries. Now, countries have been going into that for a long time in history. They have solutions. Countries have solutions. Sovereigns have solutions. They can default on their debt. They can. I think there was this story, I think, of one of the earliest banks in Florence, which lent a lot of money to the King of England, who used that money to build a very strong army and then refused to pay back. That's a default. And then there are also countries also have the tools of default by inflation. So it's otherwise known as monetary debasement. So basically, you make your money worth less, and so in real terms you are kind of defaulting, partially defaulting on your debt. This is another way, and this holds less true for companies because companies don't have these tools at their disposal. But I think in recent decades, particularly in recent years, the expansion of crony capitalism and really the springing up of lots of zombie companies which are forever in debt, never able to pay back their debt because they never make any money, but they continue to be able to raise bonds because they are deemed somehow essential. That's probably an exception for for individuals. Well, if you are in debt, you are in big trouble. Only rich people have the exceptional treatment. Poor people don't. Right. So this is basically the background. We have this from the individual level. We want to earn more. We want to have better. We want to get things get more things, better things, faster. And so this requires us to spend more, and we do that by making more. We need to make more to spend more, and this has also driven companies to forever expand, and particularly actually with one thing I didn't touch on in this written article is that companies, even though they are a little bit less susceptible to the urge to expand driven by credit, they are driven by greed, because especially for big companies, especially in crony capitalism, they are able to socialize losses while keeping their profits. So a lot of times people have been talking, I think, about socializing the loss, privatizing the profit, and that's exactly what's happening. And so, driven by greed, they want to expand too. And for countries, well, countries are basically based of because of ruled by those politicians, those higher classes, and their positions are stronger. They can maintain their control in a democracy by having a good economy, by satisfying the needs and demands of the populace. And in autocracies, their seize on power is frequently conditional on a good economy. So that means that economic growth is established. We need more economic growth for one reason or another, from different levels of society, individual level, the corporate level, or the national level. We need to grow. And this has driven us to also to consume more and to pollute more, to emit more. At the same time, we also figured that we need a big market. Just simply producing more, if there is not a big market, we don't have people to sell to. So we need to have a big market, and we do that by encouraging people to reproduce, to have a larger population. And a side benefit, I would say, of having a larger population, a larger market, is that also you have a potentially larger workforce. A larger workforce means perhaps you can expand more readily your production, and maybe you can even drive down the cost of production low. And so there are these mechanisms at work that really help, that really make population growth and economic growth some two things almost go hand in hand, and we want to have more of it. The problem I'm talking about in this video is that in this article is that when you have a lot of consumption, emission, and pollution per capita, and you want to have more population, that's a recipe for disaster. And I think in the next couple of articles I will talk more about this. I will delve deeper into climate change. But I think a very important takeaway here is that overpopulation and economic growth somehow are linked together, and they can be devastating for our own existence. Now, I'm not suggesting, of course, to curl the population, as some crazy guys on social media have been suggesting, or some conspiracy theorists who are saying that some prominent philanthropists have been engaging in plots to do that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that overpopulation is a problem, and to recognize this problem and to address it by perhaps reducing the rate of birth. The birth rate could be a way. I will discuss this in detail in another article, and of course in another video. So thank you very much for watching. I will put the link to this video, to this article in the description. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.